You wake up every morning and lie to yourself before you even open your eyes. You tell yourself today will be different. You tell yourself you'll finally change, that you'll start working out, start grinding, stop wasting time. But the second your alarm rings, the truth shows up. You hit snooze, you scroll, you check notifications. You fall back into the same lazy rhythm that's been killing your potential for years. You see, that's the problem. Most people think lying to others makes them fake, but lying to yourself, that's what makes you weak. Because when you lie to yourself enough times, you start to believe it. You build a comfortable illusion, a fake world where you're trying your best, where it's just not your time yet. And that an illusion is what keeps you stuck. You're not stuck because life's unfair. You're stuck because you've been giving yourself permission to lose. You tell yourself you're tired. You tell yourself you're stressed. You tell yourself you deserve a break. You create stories, soft, comforting stories, to justify why you're not where you want to be. But the truth is brutal. You don't need another story. You need accountability. You don't need motivation. You need honesty. Because once you stop lying to yourself, everything changes. Every loser says the same thing: I'm trying. But trying is a weak word. Trying means you've already accepted failure as an option. Winners don't try. They decide. They commit. They burn the alternative. You say you want success, but your actions show hesitation. You say you want change, but you still act like the same person you were last year. And here's the hard reality. Your future doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care how tired you are. It only responds to your discipline. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but you said that yesterday. You said it last week. You said it last year. How many more tomorrows do you think you have before you realize there's no such thing as the right time? There's only now. The world doesn't owe you a perfect moment. The only thing standing between you and progress is the version of you that keeps talking instead of doing. Look in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. You're not working as hard as you could. You're not pushing like you should. You're not hungry enough. And the reason you're stuck is because deep down, you're scared of what it takes, scared of the sacrifice, scared of losing the comfort that makes you feel safe. But safety is the enemy of greatness. You can't become a lion by living like a sheep. You can't build strength by avoiding struggle. You lie to yourself because it's easier than facing reality. It's easier to say you're unlucky than to admit you've been lazy. It's easier to blame circumstances than to take responsibility. But every time you lie, every time you avoid the truth, you reinforce the same identity that's keeping you weak. You don't realize it, but your mind listens. When you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, your brain learns that your words mean nothing. It stops believing in you. That's why discipline feels impossible, because your own mind has stopped trusting your promises. If you want to change your life, you have to rebuild that trust. You have to become the kind of person who does what he says, even when no one's watching. That's where self-respect is born. Every time you keep your word, even in silence, even in pain, your mind starts to believe again. You start to see results. You start to move differently. You start to become someone who doesn't need motivation to act, because truth becomes your fuel. Every morning, you have two choices: repeat the same comfortable lies or face the uncomfortable truth. The lie says, you'll get there eventually. The truth says, you're wasting your potential. The lie says, you're doing fine. The truth says, you're not even close. You already know which voice is right. You just keep ignoring it because the truth demands work. And that's why most people never escape the cycle. They don't want truth, they want comfort. But you can have both. You think success is complicated. It's not. It's just brutally honest. The people who win aren't smarter. They're just done lying to themselves. They're done pretending. They're done blaming. They look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem, so I'm going to be the solution. That's where freedom begins. Not when life changes, but when you do. Comfort is the most dangerous addiction in the world. It doesn't kill you fast. It kills you slowly, quietly, without resistance. It's a poison disguised as peace. You don't even realize it's destroying you because it feels good. Comfort gives you permission to stop fighting, to stop growing, to stop caring. And that's why most people never reach anything close to their potential. They've become prisoners of comfort, locked inside cages they built with soft habits and easy choices. You wake up, the bed feels warm, and you think 5 more minutes. That's comfort whispering in your ear. You finish work, and instead of improving, reading, or building something for yourself, you sit on the couch and scroll. That's comfort again. It tells you you've done enough, you deserve to rest, you can start tomorrow. And every time you listen, you trade strength for weakness, growth for stagnation, potential for pleasure. Comfort doesn't take your freedom by force. It convinces you to hand it over willingly. The truth is, most people aren't unhappy because their lives are hard. They're unhappy because their lives are too easy. They've removed all struggle, all risk, all discomfort. And what's left is boredom, emptiness, and quiet misery. You were never built to be comfortable. You were built to conquer, to endure, to rise against resistance. The human spirit dies when it has nothing to fight. That's why comfort is so dangerous. It gives you everything you want and leaves you with nothing you need. Comfort turns men into spectators. You start watching others win instead of becoming the one who wins. You start talking about success instead of chasing it. You start consuming more than you create, and you justify it with soft excuses. I'm relaxing. I'm taking care of myself. I need balance. But deep down, you know that's not balance. That's surrender. That's you giving up without saying the words out loud. You think you're resting, but you're actually decaying. Because the moment you stop challenging yourself, you start dying inside. Every great man you admire, every champion, every leader, every success story was forged in discomfort. They embraced it, they chased it, they lived in it. They understood something most people never will. Comfort weakens the mind, but pain sharpens it. When you choose comfort over challenge, you train yourself to avoid difficulty. And the more you avoid, the weaker you become. Comfort convinces you that effort is suffering. It tells you that waking up early is torture, that hard work is burnout, that sacrifice is unhealthy. But that's a lie. Real suffering comes from knowing you could be more and doing nothing about it. Real burnout is waking up every day with no direction, no drive, no fire left inside you. That's what comfort creates. A life that feels safe but means nothing. Think about it. Every time you've grown in life, every moment you become stronger, it came from pain, not pleasure. The workout that hurt, the failure that stung, the rejection that humbled you. Those moments built you. Comfort didn't. Comfort made you stop moving. You think you're avoiding pain, but you're actually avoiding progress. Because growth doesn't live in ease, it lives in resistance. You're stuck because you keep choosing what feels good over what makes you great. You keep chasing the feeling of relief instead of the feeling of achievement. You've built a routine around avoiding effort, shortcuts, distractions, instant rewards, and now you wonder why nothing changes. You've created your own prison, and comfort is the warden. You can't see the bars because they're invisible, made of habits, laziness, and fear of discomfort. Comfort kills hunger, it kills urgency, it kills passion. When everything comes easy, nothing feels worth it. That's why the world is full of people with dreams but no discipline. They want success without sacrifice, victory without battle, reward without risk. But life doesn't work like that. Comfort will always tempt you to take the easy path, but the easy path leads nowhere. The easy path is crowded with people who once said they'd do whatever it takes until it started to hurt. Comfort tells you to rest, but you haven't earned it. It tells you to slow down, but you haven't moved fast enough. It tells you you're doing fine, but you're miles away from where you could be. And the more you listen, the more you lose yourself. Because the moment you become comfortable with mediocrity, greatness becomes impossible. Comfort will make you forget what you're capable of. It will make you believe that average is normal. It will turn you into someone who once dreamed big but now just exists. You'll look around one day and realize your comfort stole your years, your fire, your purpose. Not because it was evil, but because you let it. You say you want to grow, but the moment life gets uncomfortable, you quit. You say you want to be strong, but the second things get hard, you retreat back to safety. Everyone wants to evolve, everyone wants to improve, but nobody wants to suffer. And that's exactly why most people never change, because pain is the entry fee for progress, and the majority of people aren't willing to pay. You can't have growth without pain. You can't build strength without struggle. every great thing you want. Discipline, confidence, power, success, they all come with a price, and that price is discomfort. You think pain is the enemy, but pain is the teacher. Pain is what introduces you to who you really are. When everything's easy, when life's smooth, you learn nothing. You become soft. You get lazy. You lose your edge. But when life punches you in the face, when you fail, when you get rejected, when you're tired and broken, that's when you find out what you're made of. Pain is the test that separates the talkers from the doers. Everyone talks big when life's easy, but the moment it hurts, most people disappear. They don't want to face themselves. They'd rather escape. The truth is, your pain is your proof that you're alive. It's your proof that you're fighting for something real. The gym hurts, discipline hurts, rejection hurts, but those are the exact things that carve you into someone better. Comfort makes you forget your potential. Pain reminds you of it. Pain shows you the areas you've ignored, the weaknesses you've been hiding from. It exposes your limits and dares you to push past them. That's why you should never run from pain. You should study it, use it, grow through it. The problem is, we live in a generation obsessed with avoiding pain. The moment they feel uncomfortable, they label it toxic. The second something gets hard, they quit and call it self-care. They avoid every challenge and then wonder why they feel empty. But the truth is simple: the absence of pain is the absence of growth. If you're not being tested, you're not evolving. If you're not struggling, you're not learning. You're just existing, drifting through life in a state of quiet decay. Every strong man you've ever admired, every person who's built something worth remembering, they've all bled for it. They've sacrificed sleep, time, comfort, even relationships. They've felt pain most people will never understand. And that's why they're where they are, because they were willing to hurt for what they believed in. Pain is the price of transformation. You can't change your body without pain. You can't build discipline without discomfort. You can't become mentally tough without facing failure. But pain doesn't just break you. It refines you. It teaches you patience, humility, and respect for the process. It burns away your ego. It forces you to focus on what matters. It gives meaning to every victory. Because when you finally overcome something that once crushed you, when you stand tall after breaking down, that feeling, that pride, it can't be bought. It can only be earned. Pain gives value to success. Without it, success is empty. Most people want results without resistance. They want to climb mountains but never get tired. They want to win wars but never bleed. They want to change their lives but never face their demons. That's why they stay stuck. Because growth isn't supposed to feel good. Growth is uncomfortable, unpredictable, and often painful. That's the nature of evolution. You have to shed who you are to become who you're meant to be, and that process always hurts. Think about the last time you really grew as a person. It didn't come from comfort. It came from chaos, heartbreak, failure, pressure, fear. You grew because you were forced to adapt, because you had no choice but to become stronger. That's what pain does. It gives you no other option but to rise. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Every painful situation you face is shaping you for the future you say you want. The reason most people are stuck isn't because they're unlucky. It's because they run from pain. They've been taught that struggle is bad, that stress is dangerous, that failure is shameful. But all of those things are necessary. You can't become powerful without being broken first. You can't lead others until you've learned how to lead yourself through the storm. Pain is not the end. It's the beginning of strength, of clarity, of purpose. So when life hurts, when everything feels heavy, when you're tempted to give up, remember this, that pain is not your enemy. It's your signal that you're on the edge of transformation. It's the fire that burns away weakness. It's the process that turns ordinary men into warriors. Because comfort creates nothing but pain. Pain creates the man capable of anything. Look around you. Look at the people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the energy that surrounds you. Because whether you realize it or not, your environment is shaping you every single day. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to the level of your surroundings. If you're surrounded by weak people, you'll start to think weakness is normal. If you're surrounded by complainers, you'll start complaining too. If your circle doesn't demand more from you, it's not a circle, it's a cage. Most people never become who they could be because they're too afraid to outgrow their environment. They stay in rooms that no longer challenge them. They stay loyal to people who no longer inspire them. They keep small company because it makes them feel big. But here's the truth. If you're always the smartest, strongest, or hardest working person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're not supposed to feel comfortable where you are. You're supposed to feel pressure. Pressure to rise, pressure to perform, pressure to grow. You become what you tolerate. Every lazy friend you keep, every negative voice you entertain, every excuse you accept, it all seeps into you. Slowly, quietly, it changes how you think. You start to lower your standards without even noticing. You stop pushing. You stop dreaming. You settle. And one day, you wake up realizing you've become exactly like the people you said you'd never be. That's how powerful your environment is. It doesn't just influence you, it builds you or it breaks you. If you surround yourself with people who value comfort, you'll start valuing comfort. If you surround yourself with people who chase success, you'll start chasing success. Energy is contagious. Discipline is contagious. So is laziness. You have to choose what kind of energy you let around you. Because every day, you're either being fed by your environment or drained by it. And if your surroundings aren't making you stronger, they're making you weaker. You want to know why most men stay average? Because they're afraid of losing friends. They're afraid of being alone. They're afraid that if they cut out the people holding them back, they'll have no one left. But that's where they're wrong. Sometimes you need to walk alone to find the right people. Sometimes solitude is the test that builds your power. Because the moment you raise your standards, the wrong people will fall away. And that's not loss, that's progress. When you tolerate mediocrity, you start becoming mediocre. When you tolerate gossip, you start gossiping. When you tolerate negativity, you start thinking negative. You can't expect to live like a lion while running with sheep. Your environment sets your pace. You can't sprint toward greatness surrounded by people who crawl. And yet, that's what most people do. They surround themselves with distractions, call it friendship, and wonder why they never move forward. Your circle should make you uncomfortable. They should make you want to step up. You should feel embarrassed to complain around them, ashamed to make excuses, motivated to do more. That's how you know you're in the right environment. When it demands a better version of you every single day. When your conversations are about building, not blaming. When you can't waste time because everyone around you values time too much to let you. But to find that environment, you have to let go of your current one. You have to be ruthless with your surroundings. You can't keep people who drain you and expect to stay charged. You can't keep negativity close and expect to stay positive. You can't surround yourself with weakness and expect to stay strong. You have to choose your environment like your life depends on it. Because it does. Every empire falls when the people inside get soft. Every champion loses when they start listening to losers. You can't let the noise of the world drown your drive. You can't let the comfort of company replace the fire of purpose. If your friends aren't reminding you who you could be, they're making you forget. Ask yourself right now, who are you becoming because of the people around you? Are they lifting you up or holding you down? Are they pushing you toward your goals or distracting you from them? Because life is too short to share your time with people who don't share your vision. You have to protect your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Your environment is either the soil where greatness grows or the grave where it dies. And the difference comes down to one thing: what you're willing to tolerate. Because every time you stay silent, when someone around you complains, every time you laugh at laziness, every time you let negativity slide, you're making a trade. You're trading your potential for their approval. You're trading your future for their comfort. And that's how men stay stuck, not because they lack talent, but because they lack the courage to walk away from what weakens them. There are only two types of people in this world: those who take action and those who make excuses. That's it. That's the real divide between winners and losers. The man who acts doesn't always know what he's doing, but he moves. He learns through motion. The man who hesitates always has a reason. He's waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity, waiting for the right time. But there is no right time. There's just time, and every second you waste explaining why you can't, someone else is out there doing it anyway. You think success is about luck, talent, or opportunity. It's not. It's about consistency. It's about waking up every day and doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Excuses are emotional comfort. Action is logical discipline. You can't build anything real with excuses. You can't build a body, a business, a legacy, or a mindset while defending your weakness. Every time you make an excuse, you strengthen the part of you that quits. Every time you take action, you strengthen the part of you that dominates. People say, "I'm not ready." Nobody's ready. Winners just start. They start before they're prepared, before they're confident, before they know how, because they understand that movement creates clarity. You'll never think your way into success. You have to move your way into it. The act of doing builds the person who's capable of winning. But the longer you sit there overthinking, the weaker you become. Action gives you power. Inaction steals it. Losers love the word soon. I'll start soon. I'll do it soon. But soon never comes. Soon is the language of procrastination. Soon is the comfort blanket of mediocrity. It's what you tell yourself to feel okay about wasting time. But time doesn't care. It moves on with or without you. Every second you spend making excuses, someone else is out there taking what could have been yours. Because while you're thinking about the work, they're doing it. While you're explaining why it's hard, they're getting harder. While you're waiting for motivation, they're building momentum. Excuses sound smart. You can dress them up in logic, make them sound reasonable. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I don't know where to start. But underneath every excuse is the same truth. You don't want it badly enough. Because when you want something with everything you have, you stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop looking for the easy path. You stop talking and start moving. You say you want success, but your actions don't match your words. You say you want discipline, but you live in chaos. You say you want freedom, but you act like a prisoner. You can't fake action. You can't talk your way into results. You can only earn them through repetition, through consistency, through showing up day after day, even when nobody's watching. That's what separates those who win from those who wish. Every man has a choice: suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline hurts now, but regret hurts forever. And regret always arrives too late when there's nothing left to fix. You'll never regret doing the work. You'll only regret the days you didn't. The days you could have moved forward, but didn't. The opportunities you let die because excuses felt easier in the moment. People love to say, "I'm waiting for inspiration." That's another excuse. You don't wait for inspiration. You create it through action. The gym doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. The work doesn't get lighter, you just get tougher. The more you move, the more momentum you build. But you can't build momentum standing still. You can't make progress sitting around talking about your plan. Plans are worthless without execution. The difference between winners and losers is that winners act even when they don't feel like it. They don't need to feel ready. They don't need to feel motivated. They understand that emotion follows action, not the other way around. Once you start, the feeling comes. Once you move, the fire grows. But you'll never feel ready if you never begin. The mind tricks you into thinking you need perfect conditions. You don't. You just need to start. Excuses give you nothing. They protect your ego, but destroy your future. You'll never meet a successful man who's full of excuses, because excuses are the language of the defeated. The man who wins doesn't have time to explain himself. He's too busy executing. He's too busy becoming. Action builds belief, and belief builds results. Every step you take forward, no matter how small, separates you from everyone still talking about it. You can't be both a dreamer and a doer at the same time if you're not willing to sacrifice comfort. You can dream while you move, but you can't win while you wait. The world doesn't care about your reasons. It only responds to your results. Winners understand that. That's why they move differently. While you're debating whether it's worth it, they're already halfway to victory. Because action is the ultimate truth. It exposes the liars, silences the talkers, and rewards the doers. You keep saying you want control over your life, but control doesn't come from complaining, it comes from conquering. The reason you're stuck isn't because the world is against you, It's because you've handed over the steering wheel of your own life. You've given it to distractions, to laziness, to fear, to excuses. You've surrendered your power without even realizing it. Every time you say, "I can't," every time you blame someone else, every time you choose comfort over challenge, you give away another piece of control. And then you wonder why you feel powerless. You built your own cage, locked the door, and threw away the key. Reclaiming control starts with taking ownership. You are where you are because of every decision you've made, not luck, not fate, not circumstance. You created this version of yourself. And that's the good news, because if you built it, you can rebuild it. But to do that, you have to stop seeing yourself as a victim. Victims wait for rescue, warriors create rescue. You can't move forward until you accept that no one's coming to save you. No mentor, no parent, no friend. The world doesn't care about your potential, it only responds to your power. You've been programmed to think you have no control. You've been told to wait your turn, to be realistic, to trust the process. But the truth is, the process only works when you do. Life is not a lottery, it's a scoreboard. Every choice you make either adds a point or takes one away. The small decisions, the ones you think don't matter, they're the ones that decide who you become. Every lazy morning, every wasted hour, every broken promise, it all adds up. And eventually, you either have a life you built or a life you settled for. Control isn't about changing everything around you. It's about mastering what's inside you. Your thoughts, your focus, your emotions, that's where real power lies. You can't control the weather, the economy, or how others treat you, but you can control your response. You can control your habits. You can control your energy. And once you master that, no situation can truly defeat you. Because control isn't about perfect conditions, it's about inner command. It's about being so disciplined, so centered, that chaos doesn't move you. Weak men react. Strong men respond. Weak men let emotions make decisions for them. Strong men make decisions and let their emotions catch up later. You can't keep blaming life for your situation when your decisions are the problem. Every time you choose the easy option, you reinforce weakness. Every time you choose the hard option, you build strength. The cycle of weakness continues as long as you keep choosing the path of least resistance. The only way to break it is to do the things you don't feel like doing, especially when you don't feel like doing them. You have to stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It's like the weather, it changes every day. You don't need motivation, you need standards. You need a personal code that says, this is who I am, and this is what I do, no matter how I feel. That's what control looks like. It's not about hype or emotion, it's about consistency. You don't rise when you feel inspired. You rise when you refuse to be weak. The hardest part about reclaiming control is that it requires confrontation not with others, but with yourself. You have to face the parts of you that have been hiding. The lazy part, the fearful part, the undisciplined part. You have to look those pieces of yourself in the mirror and say, you don't run me anymore. That's what separates men who evolve from men who repeat. Most people never confront themselves because it's easier to blame the world. But blame is a drug. It feels good in the moment, but it kills your drive. Reclaiming control also means taking ownership of your time. Time is your most valuable weapon. Yet most people spend it like it's endless. They scroll, they gossip, they waste it on things that don't matter, then cry about not having enough of it. Every second you waste is gone forever. Every moment you trade for comfort could have been invested in greatness. When you understand that, you start protecting your time like a soldier protects his weapon. You stop giving it to anything that doesn't push you forward. You want power, then take back your time. You want confidence, then take back your discipline. You want peace, then take back your mind. You can't control life until you control yourself. The man who can't control his habits will always be controlled by his habits. The man who can't control his emotions will always be a slave to them. And the man who can't control his focus will always live for someone else's vision. Control starts when you decide to stop being the passenger and start being the driver. There's no secret formula, no shortcut, no magic mindset hack. It's simple: own your choices, own your time, own your attitude. That's how you reclaim control. That's how you break the cycle of weakness. Because once you stop giving power to everything outside you, Once you realize everything you need is already within you, that's when you become unstoppable. You're not stuck because life is unfair. You're stuck because you've been living like you have unlimited time. You lie to yourself every morning, you chase comfort, you run from pain, you stay around people who drain your fire. You make excuses instead of moves, and you hand over control of your life like it means nothing. That's why nothing changes. Because change doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in confrontation the moment you look in the mirror and say, enough. This isn't about motivation. It's about a war between the man you are and the man you're supposed to be. Every decision you make decides who wins that war. Every morning you get up early. Every time you choose discipline over desire, every second you push through pain, you're reclaiming your life inch by inch. Nobody's coming to do it for you. Nobody's handing you power. You take it. You earn it. You fight for it. You want to know why you're still stuck? Because you've been waiting for a feeling instead of building a habit. You've been living for approval instead of purpose. But the truth is, nobody respects the man who talks, they respect the man who acts. So stop talking about what you'll do one day. Stop waiting for motivation, for luck, for the perfect plan. Start now. Take control. Do the hard thing. Push through the pain. Surround yourself with people who force you to level up. Choose discipline over comfort, truth over excuses, and action over fear. The moment you stop lying to yourself, stop running from discomfort, stop letting weakness make your choices, that's the moment your life starts to shift. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because you don't escape being stuck by waiting, you escape it by moving. The world belongs to those who act. And if you're willing to face yourself, to suffer for your growth, to demand more than average, you'll never be stuck again.